Dear nature lovers and nature protectors, salutation to you all, and also hats off to you all for loving nature so much as if it is so close to your heart. You are doing it. Pardon? Volume is more? Hush. Oh, yeah. I think we are talking about environment. I should not spoil the environment by creating loud noise. Okay. I thank all those speakers who spoke in the morning excellently, and they have brought out and also projected the main issues concerned with this discussion meet on preservation of Western Ghats and utilization of river resources, water resources. In fact, by profession, I am a geologist. Let me make it clear. I am a geologist. I worked nearly for 35 years in Geological Survey of India in different terrains of the country, and also a special expedition to Antarctica. So I know I can compare the environment of Antarctica as well as our planet Earth, in rather our country, rather I should say. And having worked 7 years in Himalayas, I was thrilled about the environment our pristine mountains, that is Himalayan mountains, contain. And very, very saddened to see some of our landscapes being, destroyed, or it's not rejuvenated after mining or any other industrial activities. So today I would be mainly focusing. Earlier I thought of telling only about the impact of mining on the environment. Then later on I thought several issues are concerned with the impact of anthropogenic activities on environment with special reference to Western Ghats, because the gentlemen who have, ladies and gentlemen who have assembled here, they are focusing on Western Ghats. So next one, please. Yeah, you would be wondering what is this anthropogenic activities. Anthropogenic activities, as you can see, any activities referring to environmental change caused or influenced by people, either directly or indirectly. I mean to say, whether you are an agriculturist, or whether you are an industrialist, or you are a mining engineer, or you are anybody for that matter, if we cause something, change in the natural environment, then it is called as anthropogenic activities. So how it is going to, change our Earth's environment? So anthropogenic effects, processes, objects, or materials are those that are derived from human activities as opposed to those occurring in natural environments. For example, there is some, say, mountain is there. So once we approach mountain with any of our activities, we try to change the natural environment. So that's where the anthropogenic activities mean. Then economic and social human activities, which can be either agricultural or industrial. See, somebody, I think in the morning, this madam told, quoted Mahatma Gandhi's word, there is enough in nature to fulfill the man's needs, but not the greed. So there is enough, but then we do not know our limitations. Sky is the limit, we think at times. If I am an industrialist, I think of building further, industries. If I am an agriculturist, I would like to encroach upon even the forest land, if it comes to that. So that's how we are interfering the nature. Next one, please. Anthropogenic activities have led to increased pollution of soil all over the world. It's not confined to just our country, India. It's all over the world. So it is the same case, but then the methodology or the approach they have adopted differ. The degree of degradation of soil or the degree of degradation of water, that differs. Anthropogenic activities including burning fossil fuels. So that means you have seen diesel or petrol, whatever you burn. Planting nitrogen fixing crops. In the morning also we were discussing how we are, spoiling the soil content by increasingly using the fertilizers just to enhance our yield of the crops. Fertilizer production also interferes, and wastewater disposal have already doubled nitrogen inputs into the global cycle. Okay. So that's how we are causing huge damage, rather irreparable damage, I should say, to the soil as well as water. And you take the second point, industrialization and urbanization has resulted in environmental crisis. I was working for 5.5 years in Planning Commission, New Delhi, as a planner in the during 8th 5-year plan. We have seen how we plan, for industrialization or urbanization, but then we are ignoring certain points. Overpopulation or over-urbanization naturally leads to the environmental change. For example, earlier hardly 20-30% of people were in urban areas. Now, I think it has crossed 55% also. It may one day come to 60 or 70% also. That means that we are gradually switching over to urbanization. What does it mean? That the space problem in the cities. For example, I hail from Bangalore. So in Bangalore, because it is not decentralized, almost all the power center is there in the Bangalore. People start, shifting to Bangalore. Say maybe in North Karnataka is far off. You would like to come to Bangalore. So you try to squeeze into the already existing urban little space. That's how it will change. And the industrialization, as you all know that any industry for that matter, without affecting the soil, without affecting the air, without affecting the water, cannot be there. So that is the industrialization and urbanization impact. Next one, please. So activity has resulted in degradation of nearly 1 billion hectares of land globally. Can you imagine? For example, we talk about afforestation. Rather, why the point afforestation comes? Because there is already deforestation. As we go back in the geological times, maybe in 10 to 20 million years back, it was 95% of the earth was covered with green, plants and trees. Now, hardly it has come down to 24% today. Such is the change we have brought in. Then consequently, society needs to find cost-effective, socially acceptable, and practical ways to remediate this land to restore ecosystem functioning. So this is very, very important. So we can think of, recover the degraded soil. But then what is the cost over there? For example, if it is an open cast mining of any minerals you take, we dig huge lands, and then to retrieve back or to remediate the same soil, it takes huge amount of money. So because of that, certain mine owners, what they do, so because they have to, follow the environmental guidelines, they would simply show a little bit of recovery of the soil and all, but they will not adhere to the entire process. So that's how many of the open cast mines which have been abandoned are now, it's all degraded soil. So this typically involves the use of plants to remove or stabilize pollutants. How do we recover that degraded soil? For example, I was in UK visiting one of the biggest coal mines in Europe. That is called Selby coal mines. It's in England. So one day I wanted to visit. I went there by taking a taxi. The taxi driver stopped the car and then asked, where have you brought me? I said, sir, you said that you wanted to visit coal mine Selby. He said, yeah, then why you have brought me here? He said, whatever you are seeing is a coal mine. You just cannot believe that. It is such a wonderfully planted, surface area. You just cannot even, in your wildest thoughts, that there is a coal mine below, underground. Such is the beautifully, maintained mines. So if we all can do that, so there won't be any conflict between the environment and the mining industries. To some extent, in our country, Neyveli Lignite Corporation, they have followed certain guidelines, and many a time they have been awarded for that. Next one, please. These activities are creating various ecological problems, thus emerging diversity of abiotic stresses like water, salinity temperature, cold, heavy metal, ozone, and ultraviolet radiation. So these are the various impacts caused by the anthropogenic activities. So as you know that ozone layer, which is a very, very important for as far as man's environment is concerned. So it was first discovered, that ozone hole was discovered in Antarctica way back in 1984 by the British Antarctic scientists. Now, as the days moved on, they have found that ozone layer is getting deteriorated day by day. So that's what the man's impact is there. Then another one, aerosol. We all know we travel by air several times, but the air is also getting polluted because of the aerosol ejected by the airplane. Next one, please. So now let us come to importance of Western Ghats. Mr. Chairman, I should not take more time. What is the time that you give?
No, you have your own time because it is much more important than.
Okay, if you allow me.
Now the time is 4,
Yeah.
6. We have 3 more sessions. We have 2 hours, sir.
Okay.
Or 3 presentations and discussions, sir.
Thank you. In case if you feel bored, please stop me, then I can conclude. Okay. Sir, importance of Western Ghats. As we all know, we are all lovers of Western Ghats, and we are in the Western Ghats right now in the Kerala. The hill ranges of the Western Ghats, a global diversity hotspot. It is so well known internationally for the biodiversity hotspot. And then extend along the west coast of India from the river Tapati in the north to the southern tip of India, that is Kanyakumari. Their positioning makes the Western Ghats biologically rich and biogeographical unique, a veritable treasure house of biodiversity. It is such an important, ecosystem. So it's all the duty of all of us to protect such an important, globally, known ecosystem. Though covering an area of 1,20,000 square kilometer, or just 6% of Indian land area, the Western Ghats contain more than 30% of all plant, fish, herpetofauna, bird and mammal species found in India. Can you imagine? Our India is so much. In that, Western Ghats covers only 6% and contains the 30% of these fauna and flora. And there are some, this thing like Nilgiri tahar and the lion-tailed macaque. In fact, 50% of Indian amphibians and 67% of fish species are endemic to this region. It has come to that. We have spoiled already so much of ecosystem in the Western Ghats. The region has a spectacular assemblage of large mammals, that is like your Asian elephants, which is around 30% of world elephants population. So it's such an important ecosystem, And 17% of the world's existing tigers, they are in the Western Ghats ecosystem. Next one, please, madam. Just a few slides to show the variety of panoramic view of the Western Ghats. This is the one. Next one. This is the Deccan Traps seen in the Western Ghats where less vegetation. Deccan Trap is a kind of rock we call as basalt. It's a volcanic rock. That's why we see that as a lava flows. Each time when the volcano comes, different lava flows are formed. Next one, please. So beautifully covered, greenery near Pune. Some waterfalls are also there. Next one. So I really marvel, I really admire the nature's beauty in Western Ghats. The Ghats include a diversity of ecosystem ranging from typical wet evergreen forests to mountain grasslands containing numerous medicinal plants. I think we have Dr. Kampi Nagarajan. So he is... Vaidyar, okay. So he was talking about Ayurvedic medicine. So for every medicines you have got plants there. So such is the beauty, such is the resource, treasure I should say, in the Western Ghats. So it's our duty to protect that. Then Western Ghats perform important hydrological watershed functions. Approximately 245 million people live in the peninsular Indian states. That it includes all our southern states, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, part of Andhra Pradesh, everything. So it provides the all important water supply from rivers originating in Western Ghats. Several rivers. You take Krishna, Godavari, Tungabhadra, you take anything, Kaveri. All the rivers are originating from Western Ghats. That is the Moola, we can say. Thus, the soil and water of this region sustain the livelihoods of millions of people. So, such an important region, you know. So, and we do not know, as somebody was telling in the morning, we have to create awareness among people. That's very, very important. I think Mr. John was telling, the second John, not the PT John, second John, he was telling, this is an important aspect of protecting Western Ghats or any other ecosystem. We have to create awareness. That's why Geological Society of India, we normally go to schools and colleges and give this kind of talk to the students, because they are the future citizens, you know. They can go back to their houses, tell their parents how to protect the ecosystem. That's the job we are doing. And yeah, it's okay. In Karnataka, for example, Western Ghats occupy only 12% of the state area, but it receives more than 80% of rainfall. And many of these rainfall, rather rivers, they flow towards west and they debouch to the Arabian Sea. So we have to divert certain amount of surplus water towards the east, so that people are benefited in the east also. Next one, please. This is the Periyar Lake and Tiger Reserve. So wonderful, And it, Nagarwali also. Next one. Yeah, next one. You see such a beautiful, this aerial view of Uti city, which is also a part of Western Ghats. Next one. This is your Munnar in Kerala. So such a lovely places are there in Western Ghats. Next one, madam. This is the houseboat. Yeah. This is the Varkala beach. See, can you imagine? People complain about nature. See, they are constructing their houses or hotels or resorts just at the edge of this thing. Is it nature's fault if it falls down? No, it is our anthropogenic activity which has resulted in that. Next one. So now let us come to man and environment. How we interfere in the nature in the form of polluting soil, polluting water, polluting air. So there are various causes. So I will just I will brush through that. For example, industrial revolution, because when the Stone Age started, when man started inventing the fire, from there on the process of polluting, air has taken place. So in the 18th and 19th centuries, during industrial revolution, pollution became a major problem, and it has continued to increase since then on. Next one, please. How we are causing damage to the environment? These are the causes. One is, as I told you, deforestation, pollution of air, water and soil due to industrialization, then land degradation, then global warming, then forest fires, then impact due to mining, pollution and depletion of groundwater, that is overexploitation of groundwater, then industrialization, then depletion of ozone, urbanization, generation of nuclear waste and e-waste of late. For example, your computers, mobiles, we just throw it. That's also kind of environmental damage we are causing. Next one. As you all know, importance of forest. It is a source for all of us. Forests conserve soil, water and air. Forests are rich in medicinal plants. They offer biotic check for pests and diseases. Otherwise, it will come into the plain areas. Forests are rich sources of biodiversity and gene pools. Because many of the biology students and zoology students, they collect some of these fauna and to study their gene pools. They serve as sanctuaries for wildlife, because man, as an entertainment, he would like to visit the sanctuaries. They prevent frequent floods and droughts. This is very, very important. Otherwise, if there is no forest, further floods and devastation of land would have taken place. They provide fuel to millions and raw materials to the industries. So most of the mineral deposits, so I do not know what is the relation between the forest and the mineral deposits. They are found there. So it is not that, deposits are not there, say for example, or Ooty or Bangalore, but many of the deposits are there in the forest covered areas. It's a nature's gift, we should say. They generate employment and income. Then the list is endless. So the forest must be maintained properly and must be protected for our posterity, as Professor Natarajan used to tell, for posterity, posterity, posterity. We have to think of that, not that we have come here, we have enjoyed and go off by destroying the man's environment. Sorry, next one. This is just know how thick forests are there. Next one. Yeah, how beautiful foliage. Next one. Just just a tidbit. How nature. That tree. Yeah, how nature provides us a lot of resources, natural resources we call. So among that, you can see, it starts from here. Say atmosphere is there. Then fossil fuels, oxygen, animals, metals, timber, water, trees, fish, oil, and with solar energy. This side, natural gas, minerals, flowers, and almost all resources are there in the earth. It is for us to see how much to take out and how much to preserve. Next one. How trees, rather any forest or any tree for that matter, how it is protecting us? By leaves, branches, they absorb sound, block the rainfall, so that heavy rainfall comes. In desert areas also, like Mr. Rajendran Singh has done it, even if you plant too much of plantations or grow trees, it can bring in water. He has proved it. Then leaves, they cool the air through evapotranspiration. For example, if you are coming from a dry area, as soon as you enter a green area, you feel the difference, how nice or how cool it is. Then the leaves filter pollutants from the air. Most of the pollutants what we inhale would have been much more but for these plants and trees. Then roots stabilize soil and prevent erosion. That's an important aspect of roots. Then leaves provide us shade, reduce wind speed. So in the olden days, along the streets, they used to be on either side of the street, there used to be a lot of trees. So the travelers, when they travel, they would take shelter there. But now, because of our greedy nature, we have spoiled most of the trees. Next one. Causes of deforestation, I need not tell. It is increasing population. For everything, we have seen in Planning Commission, for everything. You plan for next 5 years, by next 5 years, population would increase. Again, the dearth of all kinds of food, shelter, everything will take place. The population is the crux of this problem. Then, majority of people living in rural areas depend on forest for their firewood for cooking. Of course, it has been from time immemorial. Most of the villagers were on that. Nowadays, because of the gas availability, now village people also started using gas. So deforestation has reduced to that extent. Then timbers, bamboos for thatched houses, because in village side you must have seen the thatched houses. Then bullock carts and agricultural implements are made out of wood. Then for establishing big industries or refuge settlements, we clear most of the jungle ruthlessly. Then construction of railways, dams, mining, etc. This is inevitable. We spoil the forest. Then effects of deforestation, it's of course, I need not tell. The frequent floods will be there. Then about 30 million people and 10 million hectares are affected, and the property loss may run into thousands of crores of rupees. You cannot really imagine the loss caused by this deforestation. The annual loss of topsoil is estimated at 6,000 million tons, its value. We all know that per year, at least 1 to 2 centimeters of topsoil is being eroded away by the rivers and rivulets and streams and deposited in the ocean. So in fact, you would be wondering, in most of the peninsular India, what we are seeing, some granite you have all heard. Granite is supposed to be plutonic rock, which occurs at least 12 kilometers below the surface. Now we are seeing on the surface. That means 12 kilometer soil has been eroded away since time immemorial, since the earth has taken its birth. So such is the degradation. Felling of trees and destruction of forests cause imbalance in forest ecosystem. That's why the conflict between man and the beast, it's because of this. Where else they will go? They will come into this thing. Cheetah will enter the schools. Elephant will enter the paddy fields or sugarcane fields. It's happening. Then in Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Orissa and northeastern states, I think our friends are there from Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, 50% of family income in tribal areas comes from selling of forest products like honey, timber, so many things. Next one, please. Yeah, that's how we are prepared to cut the forest. Next one. So this is how we fell the trees. Next one. This what happens after falling the trees. felling the trees, it will become a desert. Next. So now let us come to another aspect. As in the morning I was telling, I will be talking about mining because I am a geologist. I know what is going on in mining and all. So, in fact, as I told you, you take anything in this room also, from pin to plate, everything has to come from natural resource, that is minerals. Minerals are so important. So if you talk about impact of mining, it is happening, it is destroying the land, it is destroying the forest, but then there should be a balance. We need minerals. For example, I do not know how many of us we know, India needs per annum, we call ourselves as a poor country. As far as gold is concerned, per annum we are importing 800 tons of gold and we call ourselves as poor. And there are plenty of gold deposits in India and people are not being allowed to mine due to certain environmental, of course, in the morning we were talking about, there are enough laws to stop this kind of mining. For example, in Karnataka itself, in Shimoga district, there is a wonderful deposits, platinum group of minerals we call. Platinum, silver, gold, so many things. Platinum group of elements like palladium, platinum, everything. It is there, good deposit. Our GSI people were doing investigation there. Somebody through media, somebody was telling media is very important. I think Dr. Krishna Kumar, media plays such a role. You can use it for positive as well as negative. You know, somebody told the media people, from the media, the native people, that some big mine is going to come here and all your agricultural land will vanish. Then they came and stopped our drilling process. See, from Geological Survey of India, we only established the deposit where it is occurring below the surface and how much it is occurring. We are not going to mine at all. We submit the report to the Ministry of Mines, Government of India. Later on, whoever invest there, they will mine it. But in the initial stage itself, they have stopped us from investigating. That's how the media plays negative role. So the impact of mining includes, as I told you, soil, water, air, vegetation, landscape. The landscape itself will change. I will show you some slides also for that. A number of effects on the environment include noise, vibration, dust, traffic, and so on. Those of you who have visited the mine area, you would be knowing that. In the area involved in mine or quarry, the vegetable coverage and the soil are replaced by wide holes surrounded by some big accumulations of waste material. So that's a very common scenario when you visit this mine area. Provided if they take enough precautions to restore the environment, this will not be there. A sort of accelerated erosion can start. So, for example, I told you for per annum 1 to 2 centimeter erosion is there. If you visit such areas, maybe 4 to 5 centimeter erosion will be there because you have loosened that soil and naturally when the rainwater comes, it will just destroy it. Devastating effect will be there. Next one, please. These are some of the photographs, impact of mining and environment. This is a quarry. Next one. See, initially when they establish certain mine area, camps, they will cut the forest, they will clear it, they will construct the camps. Next. This is how the big vehicles will start moving, start digging, start removing the soil and transporting it. The next one. These are all open cast mining. I think most of you know that there are two types of mining. One is open cast, where we dig from the topsoil. One is underground. If the deposits are found deep beneath this thing, open cast mining is not economic, so we do underground mining. This is the open cast mining. Next one. This causes the heavy damage to the environment. Whereas underground mining, we only tunnel in the underground. It will not cause much surfacial damage. Next one. This is quarrying, for example, somebody was mentioning the granite quarry. Next one. This is also huge granite. Here the water is getting, even the groundwater, gets there, it gets polluted by this. Next one. This is a land degradation. Somebody have, taken out certain deposits and they have left it open without refilling it back. So that land degradation will take place. Next one. So what are the environmental problems caused by mining? Fine particles result in poor fertility of the soil due to increase in alkalinity. So as they dig, fine particles will come out in the dust, rather in the air. It will spoil. There is a, what is that, a disease called silicosis. Those workers who are working in the mines, they breathe the fine particles of rock, so it will go and deposit in the lungs, and some of the people they die due to silicosis. Very poor people. Yeah. You are signaling. Next one. Next one, madam. Health problems. What are the health problems caused by this thing? As I have already mentioned. Next one, how to come out of that. Next one. So I showed the bad effect, but there are good effects also, and how you can restore the mine land, because mining is always not caused, due to this thing, illegal mining. I have forgotten to talk about the illegal mining, because that is a rampant illegal thing happening in the mine area. Government gives, for example, 1 square kilometer area for lease, and the man will start approaching, side by side. So that is causing illegal mining. In fact, Supreme Court has put a ban in Karnataka for mining iron ores. They cannot mine more than 25 million tons per annum. Though plenty of, I do not know how many of you know, 92% of magnetite is a source for iron. 92% of magnetite deposits are found in Kudremukh area, Karnataka. 92% of India, it is there. Because of environmental problems, see, there is a way to do it. You do underground mining. You don't spoil the forest. So this is what people should realize, mining is not always, causing any harm, but there is a way to do it. The next one, how we can do it. See, you should do systematic mine working. Don't cause any land degradation. You dig it. Then next one. See, water spraying on graded hole. This dust will not be there. If you put properly, time to time, you put water, it will suppress the dust. That's all. This minimum thing, if you cannot do it, then don't mine it. Otherwise, it will cause damage. Otherwise, there is no damage at all. Be friendly with the nature. That's what people should learn. Next one. Graded road with avenue plantation. Start planting on either side of this thing. You won't find that, this mine has caused this degradation. Next one. And this, whatever I am showing, this is all, in the Goa iron ore mines. It's in the Western Ghats. Then ore trucks being covered with tarpaulin. For example, if it is windy, the dust will go up. So better you properly cover the iron ore. So no dust will come into the air. Next one. Avenue plantation on Howell Road. Next one. Plantation on waste dumps. For example, some people, they dump it and leave it as such. You have to plant trees so that it will protect that. No dust will come out, no land degradation will take place. Next one. Terrace stabilized waste dump with plantation. So a huge dump was there. Terrace by terrace, you have to develop and add, put the plantation. Next one. See, settling pond should be developed so that the dust and other material will not flow into the river. It will settle down in the pond itself. Further, clean water will flow and it will join streams and streamlets. Next one. Clean pit water recharge to stream. See, they have made gravels and everything on the river bed so that all the effluents are stopped here itself before the water joins the stream. There are methods and ways to stop the bad impact of mining, but we are not following because it involves money. So we always, when you do business, we think in terms of money. So that is nothing but greedy. You give back to something to nature when you are taking so much from nature. Next one. Dumps now before taking stabilization measure. See, step by step. It should not be a sharp gradient dump. Otherwise, when it rains, it will take away everything. Next one. Then you do this kind of textile, that is, we call as gunny bags cloth, you put it. Then next you plant. Next one. See how beautifully it looks now. You won't feel that there was a mining effect in this. Next one. Plantation on inactive portions of waste dumps. Wherever you are not active, you plant the trees. Next one. That is all. See, what I mean to say, there are ways and means to protect the nature. Even if you, because nature gives us all important minerals. Without minerals, we cannot live. For example, iron ore. Our country is rich in iron ore. You may be knowing that India is now second largest producer of the steel in the world. See, we have gained that much because steel is an important material now in development. So India is now the second largest producer of steel in the world. So we have got such an image. So you cannot say by mining iron ore you are spoiling this thing. No, you can maintain the environment. Be friendly with the environment. This is what we have to learn. We have to tell people to be friendly with the environment. See, people when they start, domesticating even the tiger cubs, they become friendly. Even if they grow up, you can go and embrace the tiger. So like that, man can do anything, but it should be there. Ways and will should be there. So now I was talking about what is important, urbanization effect. It's a teeming population. This buzzing population, you can say. That is the main root cause for all our, nature's this thing, pollution. Next one. See, concrete jungle, cities. Next one. There is no green lung space at all. Next one. This is a very common scene. You go to any this thing. Then we are all polluting along beaches. We go for our entertainment and we are spoiling the beach by throwing several plastic. Next one. See, this is the air pollution by the teeming vehicles. Next one. See, automobiles. Next one. This is the black smoke ejected by the buses. Next. Now let us come to industry environment. What I mean to say that, yes, it doesn't mean that there should not be any pro-generation. There should be, but we should plan. We should plan for the resources in future. As you are telling, posterity. Think of posterity always. Don't be very, very selfish. Now, today I can enjoy and go off. But what will happen to the next generation? Okay, industry and environment. I think I will not go too much detail. There are three types of industries. One is primary, which are involved in the collection, utilizing and harvesting of resources. Example is mining and smelting. And secondary industries deal with manufacturing as they take raw materials and convert them in various ways. For example, I told you steel. So from iron ore, we convert that into steel. That is secondary industries. And below that steel factories, they have got several, say, utensils factories. So many subsidiaries are there. Then tertiary industries produce services for individuals and groups. Example, advertisement, publicity, etc. Next one. Industrial pollutions. In the morning also we were all talking about this. Major causes due to pollution contribute to environmental degradation. Many of the largest polluters come from the chemical, pesticide, oil refining, petrochemical, metal smelting, iron and steel, and food processing industries. They are the major ones. Next one. This is the, you see, inevitable whenever there is a factory. Next one. This is also same thing, industry. Next one. Disposal of water. That is an important aspect. So there are, prescribed and scheduled laws. No industrial effluent should be directly driven into the streams of this thing. But people are not following. If you clean it and leave it, it's okay. But they are dumping everything into the rivers. Next one. This also is our immersion of idols. It will cause lead pollution in the water. Next one. See, in the village side, there is no way, other way. They will take the cattle also for bathing there. Next one. These I showed you industrial effluent into the river. Next one. Our present day lakes, what happens? See, we are throwing all the plastic waste. So it is causing the degradation of the water. Next one. And along the beaches also, you see the tires. See, tires also, people are throwing it, They have made it a dustbin. Next one. So even there are certain islands where factories are there. Next one. Deadly pollution, causing the death of poor fishes. Next one. Garbage in the morning, somebody was mentioning how we are, polluting. And think of the workers, what is their plight? Next one. E-waste, electronic waste. We are throwing our computers and all. Next one. So the mobiles, this is the latest menace of throwing the mobiles. Everyone will be having one or two mobiles. And they do not know that mobiles contains very important rare earth elements. We call lanthanum, cerium, thorium, like that. It is there, and it is estimated that per ton of mobile you can recover 3 grams of gold. 3 to 4 grams of gold you can recover, and other rare earth materials. The technology is there. Next one. Now, with all that, we have come back to this nature. So, if you use renewable energy, you are not spoiling the nature at all. What are the renewable? Water, hydro, electricity, biomass, wind, solar, and of course, we are becoming wiser by adopting solar panels these days. At least in Bangalore, I see every houses has got solar heater for bathing purpose, and people are also going for the electricity purpose also. Non-renewable, we should reduce that nuclear or coal, this thing, power, then thermal power plants, then hydrogen, electricity. Next one. Yeah, these are the different implements used from solar energy. Next one. These are the big solar surfaces. I do not know. Many of you may be knowing near Pavagada or Kortigare in Tumkur district, Karnataka, we have got the Asia's biggest solar panel producing the solar energy. Next one. So these days we are adapting to electric vehicles that would be cleaner air. Next one. So wind energy, we can harness a lot of wind energy. Next one. So energy conservation. So who are the main culprits? They are the US people. See, 5% of the world population of the US population is only 5% of the world population. They are consuming 26% of the world energy. And they are teaching to other countries that you reduce the consumption. This is the hypocrisy. Then a US resident consumes 12,000 kilowatt of electricity per year, 9 times the world average. Such is the consumption. The average American household emits 23,000 pounds of carbon dioxide annually. And they are telling you, developing countries like China and India, you reduce it. In China, which are the factories? They are established by American investors only. They are now releasing CO2 in China, but not in USA. This is the irony, 2 billion people in the world do not have electricity. That's a pity. Just using of the self technology, we could cut the cost of heating. So I have already told all those technologies. Next one. So what is the final solution? You plant trees. Next one. This is how you plant trees, means you are protecting your precious, pristine nature. Next one. Soil conservation, such as hilly terrain in Ooty and all this, you make terraces and conserve the soil and plant this thing, saplings. Next one. This is the terrace conservation of soil. So the buzzword for conserving is or protecting nature is plant trees. I think that's the end of my talk. Next one. Let us all join our hands to our share to make a beautiful heart. Thank you very much. Sorry, I have taken a little bit more time since you allowed me that luxury of availing more time.
No, it's
very useful.
the question and answer session.
Sure.
Yeah. So question session.
After his presentation.
Today's session is what we can say scientific presentation of the article. A wonderful lecture, sir. And I thought that I was sitting in the university listening to the professor's lecture. So hats off to Dr. Krishnamurthy for all the presentation. This is how we have to scientifically present our paper. This will be a guideline for our forthcoming discussion and also framing our agenda. And for the convenience of our Tamil people, with the permission of the audience, let me translate in few seconds some of the ideologies given by ஐயா கிருஷ்ணமூர்த்தி அவர்கள் மைனிங்னா எல்லாம் தெரியும் நமக்கு. சுரங்கத்தை தோன்றுகிற விதம், அதில் ஏற்படக்கூடிய தாக்கம் என்ன அப்படின்றத பல நிலைகளில் சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. அது ஒரு நிமிஷத்தில் 2 நிமிஷத்துலலாம் நம்ம சொல்லவும் முடியாது, புரிந்து கொள்ளவும் முடியாது. அதை கம்ப்ளீட்டாக டிரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்ணி நம்ம தமிழில் எடுத்துக்கிறது நல்லது அப்படின்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன். வாய்ப்பு கிடைச்சதுன்னா நானே டிரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்ணி நமக்கு கொடுக்குறேன். அதனால் அதை படித்து நம்ம தெரிந்து கொள்ளலாம். இந்த நேரத்தை நாம் பயன்படுத்திக்கணும் அப்படின்றனால கம்ப்ளீட்டாக பார்த்தீங்கன்னு சொன்னால் என்ன மாதிரி தாக்கங்கள், எந்த தாக்கம் தான் அந்த தாக்கம் தான் அப்படின்னு கிடையாது. பிரைமரி இண்டஸ்ட்ரி, செகண்டரி இண்டஸ்ட்ரி, டெரிஷரி இண்டஸ்ட்ரி, அல்டிமேட்டாக மனுஷன் வாழ முடியுமான்ற ஒரு சூழலுக்கு வந்துடுது. எ கான்ஃப்ளிக்ட் பிட்வீன் மேன் அண்ட் அனிமல் அப்படின்ற அந்த ஒரு கான்செப்டையும் சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. அப்போது நாம் அவங்க கூட சண்டை போடல, மிருகங்கள் நம்ம கூட சண்டை போடல. அல்டிமேட்டாக எங்கே ஒரு அந்த காரணம் உருவாகுது அப்படின்றது நமக்கு புரிகிறது. அதனால் இந்த விஷயத்தை நம்ம கொஞ்சம் சீரியஸாக எடுத்து, இப்போ என்எஸ்எஸ், என்ஒய்கே இந்த மாதிரி அமைப்புகள்லாம் இருக்குது கல்லூரிகளில், பள்ளிக்கூடங்கள்லாம். நானே 1,00,000 கன்றுகள் செஞ்சியில் 10 நாள் தங்கியிருந்து நட்டு இருக்கும். 10 லட்சம் கன்றுகள் with the help of the forest department way back in 1980s. ஸோ இந்த ஒரு செய்தியோட நம்ம செய்ய முடியும். அதுக்கு ஒரு மைண்ட் செட் வேணும். இந்த மாதிரி கான்செப்டை என்னுடைய பேராசிரியர் எனக்கு வழிகாட்டின்னு கூட சொல்லலாம். பேராசிரியர் ரத்னா நடராஜன் திருப்பத்தூரில் இருக்கார். அவங்க 94 வயசு. ஒரே மணி நேரத்தில் 10 லட்சம் கண்ணை நட முடியுங்களா? முடிஞ்சது. ஹி வாஸ் யூனிவர்சிட்டி கோஆர்டினேட்டர். அப்போ என்டையர் தமிழ்நாடு கம்ப்ளீட்டாக எல்லா காலேஜஸ்லேயும் என்எஸ்எஸ் இருந்தது. ஒரே மணி நேரம்தான், 10 to 11, ஃபிக்ஸட் டேட்டு, ஃபிக்ஸட் டைமு. பிரின்சிபல்ஸு, என்எஸ்எஸ் ப்ரோக்ராம் ஆஃபீஸர்ஸ், ஒவ்வொரு என்எஸ்எஸ் நம்பர்லேயும் 2 யூனிட் 3 யூனிட் இருக்கும். ஒரு யூனிட்டுக்கு 50 மாணவர்கள் இருப்பாங்க. அப்போ கற்பனை, ஒரு ஆளுக்கு ஒரு செடி நட்டால் போதும். தட் வாஸ் த கான்செப்ட். ஒரு மணி நேரத்தில் 10 லட்சத்துக்கு மேலே அந்த கன்றுகள் நம்முடைய தமிழகத்தில் நடப்பட்டது என்பது வரலாறு. அப்போ ஐ வாஸ் த ப்ரோக்ராம் ஆஃபீஸர் ஃபார் என்எஸ்எஸ். இட் வாஸ் அ ஒண்டர்ஃபுல் ஸ்கீம். லைக் தட் we can protect nature, mother nature. அது இல்லைன்னாக்கா, அம்மா இல்லைன்னாக்கா நமக்கு என்ன ஆகும்? அதே போல் தான் இது. அதனால் இந்த ஒரு செய்தியோட once again, sir, it's a wonderful lecture. We enjoyed, really we enjoyed. Hats off to you. Please. Now I call upon our best friend, Mr. Engineer Velichami sir, to deliver his lecture on water sharing. Thank you.